Welcome to Get in the Ring with DJ D Kooks and Beast Mike on the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Yes, it is. It's time to get in the ring with DJ D Kooks and Beast Mike. I'm a little subdued today as as we're getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday, and we are here because we would not record on Thanksgiving.
No. We want everyone to enjoy their Thanksgiving, whether it's be with the food or with the families or with all the pre-Black Friday shopping that everyone's going to do. So we got to have this drop on right after the Wednesday Night Wars continue with AEW and NXT. Yes, I am Beast Mike, and this was a big weekend in wrestling. Survivor Series weekend, Chicago basically being the epicenter of wrestling. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of all wrestling. The 4 nights with WWE, and then AEW was there just now. They just wrapped up their show tonight with a good AEW Dynamite. So we got a lot to get into. So let's waste no more time. Let's get it. Where are we starting?
Dana Brooke and Batista? No.
Yeah, apparently Dana just told Batista to slide in her DMs.
Yep.
That literally just happened like 5 minutes ago. I just caught that on Twitter.
Yeah, I caught that on Twitter. I was like dying.
Everyone took that and ran.
Follow up from the Cornette did resign. So,
yeah, I thought he did. Yeah, okay.
So he did resign. That might have been known by last week's show, but
yeah, I think I might have mentioned it, but yeah,
cover my butt.
Yeah, it's good to clarify. Yeah, good to clarify it though. Oh, and also before we get into anything else, we forgot to preview the Wilder fight, and we didn't really need to. Because
Wilder is your NyQuil moment.
Yeah. There's no one. I mean, he's becoming king of the NyQuils because he's just dropping bombs on so many victims who dare step into the ring with Deontay Wilder. Now, this took a little bit to the credit of his opponent, but Wilder still got it done
in one punch.
And got it in one take. Yeah, Luis Ortiz got wrecked in round 7, and to the point where you can see all of the sweat drop off Ortiz, and he was out the moment it hit him, and it was GG. As Deontay Wilder claims another victim, and we're getting ready for the super fight that's coming up in February. They just signed the deal a couple days ago with Tyson Fury, and they're gonna run it back in February 20, I believe, is the day of the fight. They're gonna run it back, Fury versus Wilder, as Fury really was truthfully knocked out by Wilder, but the referee didn't. But he somehow got up and survived. We'll see them run it back. But yeah, they made the deal official earlier this week.
With Friday Night Smackdown. Which wasn't
SmackDown did a good job of setting up for Survivor Series. It set it up quite nicely. It really did put a good spin on the go-home show. We got some quality matches from the jump here. Trying to get to the opening series of events, which I believe opened with what, the triple threat?
Yeah, it opened with a triple threat.
Right, the triple threat of Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, and this became the weekend of Rhea Ripley. But as we're going to go into all the stuff that happened with her. Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte, good triple threat match. I really thought it was nice. I was digging it. I was all into it. And the finish was outstanding. If you didn't see this finish by now, you're really late to the party, but this finish was outstanding.
Yeah, it was Charlotte Flair in the figure eight, and then Rhea covered her.
Charlotte with the figure eight, and not that Rhea covered her to win the match. It was that Rhea used the schoolboy to use the roll up to do it, and did it in a sense of basically Charlotte had nowhere to go. Charlotte couldn't kick out if she wanted to. Charlotte provided the bridge for Rhea to sneak under, and then Rhea trapped her arms with a roll up. And then while Sasha was completely trapped in the figure four portion of the figure eight, she couldn't break up the pin. And Charlotte had her in the figure eight trying to get a submission, so she couldn't break up the pin. There was no escape. There was no way that Rhea could have possibly lost in this situation. What a brilliant way to have Rhea steal the pin from Charlotte. And then obviously the women brawled as we kept it moving with the women's portion of the Survivor Series deal. Next up was Undisputed Era and crashing the scene of Sami Zayn introducing the brand new IC title. I like it. I like the new IC title. I like the side plates.
I like the design. It's sort of conducive to what they've been doing.
Right. So the only title not to get a makeover is the U.S. title, which I'm a little surprised it hasn't. I'm sure that I would imagine it'll come soon. But yeah, I dig it. I like the new title. I like the side plates. I'm all for it. I like the side plates in pretty much every championship now, except the tag titles and the U.S. title. This led to Undisputed Era interrupting the proceedings, and New Day and Heavy Machinery had an 8-man tag with all 4 members of Undisputed Era. But ultimately, it was basically divide and conquer by UE. UE took out first they took out the members of New Day, which basically made it 4-on-2, and then they finished the deal New Day did with Roddy Strong getting the pin on a high knee, pinning Otis to win the match for Undisputed Era. Afterward, this then focused on the triple threat with Styles, Roddy, and Shinsuke. Shinsuke and Zayn watched the match from the top of the ramp. AJ then got the drop in on both parties, and basically things were getting really bad until Sami Zayn saved the day with a couple chair shots to get his man Shinsuke to safety. More on their triple threat, which was pretty good later on in this particular podcast.
Yes, King O'Brien arrives. He addresses his issues with the Fiend, and he summons the Fiend, but he gets the Miz instead.
Continuing to build up the forever beef that is Daniel Bryan and the Miz continues. They had an impromptu match after the Miz slapped Daniel Bryan. We got teased with the yes stuff towards the end, as the guy Bryan was going to finish off Miz, and then the Fiend shows up and puts Bryan to sleep with the mandible claw. But again, the forever beef that is Daniel Bryan and Miz continues.
Right.
Never seems to be a bad thing when those two hit the mic because they two spit gold when they're against each other.
The only problem I had with this is they could have given Daniel Bryan a win here.
Yeah, I agree. Keep momentum nice for Survivor Series.
Attack after the match.
Yeah, I get you. I get you there. Next up, we get Bayley tried to get a drop on Shayna. It did not work. It really did not work. As Shayna would fight Bayley off, and Bayley would basically run to the up the ramp. I didn't like this because I thought it made Bayley look a little weak. I will say I wish they would have had Bayley look a little stronger here in this situation. But that look of death by Shayna at the end of the proceedings, I was sold on that. That was dope. But I wish they made Bayley look a little bit stronger in this situation. They really made Bayley look weak, like she was running away from Shayna.
Right. But this is WWE where all heels are chicken shit.
Yeah, I was not a fan of how they basically portray Bayley like, oh, I'm calling Shayna out. And then when she finally gets the smoke, she realizes she don't want it. It just wasn't. I wasn't a fan of that. The brawl was fine. It's just Bayley running away from it. I didn't like that. Then we get to the main event of Reigns, Mustafa Ali. They finally get Mustafa his name back. Good with that. and Gable versus Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude. Solid 6-man tag, but ultimately it was Deep Six that put Ali down for the 1, 2, 3. Corbin gets it done for his team, and then we get a full-scale fight coming in with Raw and SmackDown, basically going to war. As Rollins led his team to the ring to fight with Roman, Strowman had brought SmackDown to come into the ring, but then Triple H sounded like it was a road dog and a little bit of paying homage to DX storming Norfolk, Virginia with the tank with the army vehicle years ago. Instead, it was Triple H, Road Dogg, and HBK leading said army of NXT, and they stormed the ring. The whole roster basically stormed the ring. Basically all the men's roster stormed the ring and made it happen. It turned into absolute chaos. And then we saw, which was a battle I really needed to see more of in the 5-on-5 men, the 5-on-5 men's, with Keith Lee and Braun Strowman. We saw that to pretty much end SmackDown, which was dope. We got Spanish Fly.
Right. That tease was nice. When I saw Keith Lee and Braun in there, I was like, oh shit.
I was all for that. I was all for that. We got a Super Spanish Fly by Mustafa Ali to pretty much end all the proceedings, and then basically the 3 members of DX beat up King Corbin on an exclusive part when the cameras went off the air, which was funny. Yeah, basically Raw Dog did his punches, Sweet Chin Music pedigree, after they got the STD joke in on Corbin. So it made for funny television.
You know what I'm thankful for? Hating Baron Corbin.
Seeing Corbin get this work? Yep. Yeah, I know you've been thankful for that for many a time. It never gets old though. It never does get old seeing Corbin get this work repeatedly.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, and it's very liberating.
It makes everyone feel good. It does make everyone feel good seeing Corbin get beat up repeatedly. Okay, now we're gonna shift gears. The following night, Takeover Wargames 3, aka Takeover Chicago 3. Garza versus Isaiah Swerve Scott in a good kickoff match. Good entertaining stuff. Ultimately, it was the wing clipper from Garza to get it done. But this wasn't really the story here. The story to me, and the story to everyone else should be, that after the match, Garza comes through the curtain, and then Leo Rush drops him. This could have been Nyquil moment of the week, too. Leo dropped him with a right hand and left him land. You could actually hear the punch hit Garza right in the face. And Leo basically said it's on site whenever he sees Garza, because he made it personal after he took off his tracksuit, his rip-away pants in front of his wife and kids. That was so disrespectful. So I completely understand why Leo punched him in the face. That was a receipt. He had it coming. Good match, though. I want to see more of Garza versus Leo, because that's a good rivalry in the making. Let's keep that going.
We got to the War Games match.
Before the women's War Games, Mia Yim got taken out, and Rhea Ripley had to go last minute and add Dakota Kai to the match. This would play into the match later on. Yeah. So as we know, Shayna got the advantage because Io Shirai beat Mia in a ladder match to secure the advantage when Kaylee Ray interfered and basically interjected herself as part of Shayna's team. The match starts with Io and Candice. Good stuff for 5 minutes. Bianca comes in. She adds to the feud. She adds to the fight. Rhea Ripley comes in. She adds to the fight. And now we get to the interesting part of this when, Kaylee Ray's coming in, does her thing. Everything is cool. Everything is normal. Then we get Dakota Kai's entrance. And then Dakota Kai basically Yakuza kicks Tegan Nox in the face and wows out on Tegan Nox in one of the more shocking betrayals. I didn't see this coming. I was really not prepared to see this coming.
I don't like I don't like the heel turn, but I'll see where they go with it.
There was more developed. It was a good match with her and Candice Dakota later on tonight. Earlier tonight. I'll explain when we get to NXT. But this was a beating. This was a very they put this heel turn on real nice. As Tegan Nox caught a beating, a lot of it centered around her repaired knee. As Dakota Kai used the door to bash on the knee. She basically trapped her leg into it. She was able to, between the bars, to add some more damage. She did a knee bar to it to add more damage. It was a savage beating. So Dakota leaves the proceedings, in part because of Regal and how she shoved Regal. And she was fine for it, apparently. And Tegan Nox obviously was unable to compete, so it was 4-on-2. And this played into a really good storyline. By this time, Kaylee Ray added some toys, and Rhea Ripley added some toys to make this the War Games that we've seen over the last few years with a whole lot of weapons and a whole lot of creativity with said weapons. The women were creative. And then with Shayna jumping on,
I will give it to
the women was very creative.
By the time, I felt like 2 was too much for this night.
Okay.
I felt like the women should have had the War Games and not the men.
Understandable.
After seeing both matches, you know.
You thought it was too much?
I thought it was too much, and I was numb to it by the end of the night.
I did like how the women didn't use a bunch of weapons that weren't the tables, and then the men used only tables. I did like that, and how they separated the weapons from the 2 matches.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that, because they tried to make both matches entirely different. So I get it. I totally got that point.
Yeah, but at the same time, the women felt more like a feud than...
Yeah. Instead of the men's being kind of just thrown together centering around Ciampa's pursuit of the NXT Championship. Fair enough. That's fair. Ultimately, all 6 women that were truly in the match really did their thing, really had their moments of shine.
And both Kai and Nox played their role perfectly, so...
Yes, they did. Also true. Also true that will not get lost in this review. We got the reverse super poison Rana. We got the Tower of Terror spot on all the chairs. Io Shirai's moonsault was crazy. And the closing moments of the match where Kaylee Ray jumps, basically ribs first into a trash can by Rhea Ripley. I thought that was nice. And then the closing I thought was great, where Shayna went for the Kirifuda clutch and got countered by Rhea Ripley with the handcuffs that Shayna tried to use earlier in the match, and it gets finished off with the riptide on the chairs. So Rhea pinned Shayna in what was a really good War Games.
Yeah. He's done Damian Priest, Cody, and Dane. Good match, but this did not need to be 20 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it went too long. I thought they could have did all this in 15.
It peaked a little too early.
Right. Yeah, I would buy that. I think it just tried to have as much time to give everyone as much time as possible, but they gave everyone too much time. They could have really did all this in 15 minutes. I thought this match did drag. I thought it totally did drag. All 3 guys did their thing. All 3 guys had some good shine, and Dunmo's the right winner. But yeah, I thought it was a little bit too long. A tad
very
too
good.
long. Still entertaining, yes.
But it sort of did the it would have been a rocking 3-way if it was 15 instead of 20. Next
with Balor and Riddle,
Portland, and the rumored Saudi show. The next rumored Saudi show is rumored for February 20th.
Yep, Takeover. Yeah. Whoa. Okay, so they're gonna do 2 shows. Okay, so rumored for Saudi and then Takeover Portland on the same day.
No, they're not. No, the Takeover Portland is the 16th of February, and the Saudi show is the 20th of February.
Oh, okay. Got it. I guess I didn't read the dates, but okay. So Takeover Portland and then Saudi. So they're separating the Takeover from what will be the Chamber? When's Elimination? Elimination Chamber is what, the following weekend, or is it the weekend before that?
I'm not sure.
Isn't
No,
Chamber
March 8th.
Oh, Chamber's. Oh, okay. So there is no main roster pay-per-view then in February.
It would be
the
show.
So they're basically doing away with Fastlane. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds like they're doing away with Fastlane
because they're doing a Takeover instead on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Good deal. Riddle versus Balor Was as physical as you would expect. I was entertained by this match. I like the physicality the Riddle brought. I like the physicality the Balor brought. We got high speed at points. We got good tech skill at points. A very good co-main. Balor hit him with the 1916 to win it, but it was a very good co-main.
It seemed like Riddle was a little less aggressive at points, and Balor ramped it up, but didn't ramp it up to the level I thought he would. I'd still give this match 3.5 stars, but I'm not in love with it like you were.
Okay.
Where would you go with the women's war game? Where would you rate the women's war games? I went 4.25.
Women's I like more than men. I will say that before we get to the men's war games. Women's I thought was definitely better than the men's. 4.25 is about right. Because it was good, wasn't blow away, but 4.25 is probably about right. I'd probably go 4 on the men's, 3.75 Riddle, and 3.75 Riddle and Balor, and then probably 3.5 for Dunn Priest and Dane.
That's fair. I would flip flop the Dunn Priest, Dane, and Balor Riddle rating.
Okay.
Because I'm at 3.5 on Balor Riddle and 3.75 on Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, and Damian Priest.
I saw it went a little bit too long for my liking, which is why I dropped it a quarter point.
Yeah.
And then we get to the war games, the men's war games, which absolutely had a different feel than the women's. And it was highly entertaining to see Keith Lee and Dijakovic do their thing with an environment that screams creativity. I was all for that. It was not Adam Cole that started the match for Undisputed Era like he's done for the last 2 war games. It was Roddy Strong who did it. Strong and Ciampa started. Solid, pretty much decent wrestling match. We got Kyle O'Reilly jumping in, then Dijakovic. We got Keith Lee jumping in after Bobby Fish. And Adam Cole came in last, but Adam Cole brought in tables. Lots of tables at the behest of Roddy Strong. I think 6 of them.
Yeah.
And
the 7th one got broken.
The 7th one got broken because Ciampa pushed Cole into the table. Then we found out as after the 3 minutes were up and all the other 7 men were in the cage, who was the 8th man in the match? The building went nuts because it was Kevin Owens. And we saw the old school Kevin Owens NXT shirt. We got the current rage, the usual rage that Kevin Owens brings to every match that he's in. The crowd loved it. I thought it was great timing doing it in Chicago. It was big time. I loved it. I love the introduction. And we see Kevin Owens has supported Undisputed Era in the past. And the fact that he throws it back and got the shine at the start of it was great. The Panama Sunrise was... the Super Panama Sunrise.
Yeah.
By Cole to Owens under the steel grate was dope. And then obviously UE getting put through all those tables in various ways. Who was it first? It was Strong got hit by Dijakovic. And then it was Owens putting Fish through the table.
Yeah.
It was the Lee putting O'Reilly through the table. And now we're down to 1-on-1 between Ciampa and Cole on the top of the cage. And we're all thinking probably the same thing. The fans chanting, "Please don't die," is very appropriate at this moment in time.
I think Cole's dead.
we all thought Cole was dead. They even
that pounce. I saw the gif of the pounce from NXT tonight.
Yes, that was so good. Oh my gosh!
I'm like,
Adam
Cole.
Cole survived it, but my God, Keith Lee sent him in another orbit. Before that, it was the ultimate air raid crash through those 2 tables from Ciampa to Cole, and I was like watching that. I was like, oh my God! I thought he had no shot against Pete Dunne at Survivor Series. I thought he had no shot. Ciampa gets the pin after the super air raid crash. They even show Britt Baker in the crowd. obviously we know that's his wife, not his girlfriend. But we show Baker in the crowd afterward, and we were all like, how? I was standing after that.
Yep.
That was wild. Absolutely the better ending. The men's match had the better ending, but the women's match is better overall. So that's how I would describe Takeover Wargames.
Yep. I thought the women's match had higher emotional notes.
Yes, it did.
Well, the men's had pure chaos.
Mm-hmm. Fair way to describe that too. Definitely a fair way to describe that as well.
And that's why I give it the quarter-star edge.
Mm-hmm. Survivor Series. Same building, same company. Let's get things started. The Battle Royal for the tag teams was meh. You really missed nothing if you didn't watch this. You missed nothing. Ultimately, Ziggler and Roode win for SmackDown. You missed absolutely nothing. It came down to Ziggler, Roode versus Street Profits. And we saw some good stuff from Montez Ford, but ultimately it was Bobby Roode eliminating him to win the match for his team. So SmackDown's on the board with their first win. Cesaro representing Raw, Lio Rush representing NXT, Kalisto representing SmackDown, Cruiserweight Championship match. Pretty good match. And we got more on Cesaro and Lio later on. But pretty good match overall between the three of them.
I did see the GIF of the German suplex to the apron. I can't believe they actually did that.
Yep. I was not ready for that.
No.
I was truly not ready for that. But ultimately, it was Lio getting it done with the final hour, pinning Kalisto after Kalisto hit the Selena del Sol on the Tozawa. It was the final hour to pin Kalisto for 3. They're getting NXT on the board with their first win. Decent match between the three.
And Raw gets its only win.
Raw gets, as the win you'd probably the most expected from Raw, was Viking Raiders, Undisputed Era, New Day, triple threat for who the baddest tag team in the game is right now in WWE. A good match. You know what? I enjoyed it. We got the brutality from Viking Raiders. We got the speed and creativity of New Day, and we got the synergy that is Undisputed Era. And all 6 men really put in work. This became really down to Viking Raiders and Undisputed Era. As Kingston tried Trouble in Paradise, it got picked off, and they took down Big E. Ultimately, New Day did their part towards the middle of the match, but really Big E and Kofi were taken out towards the end, leaving it down to the Raw team and the NXT team. But ultimately, Viking Raiders was just too much for Fish and O'Reilly as they finished the deal. Ivar dodged the high-low, and then they finished the deal with the Viking Experience to get the pin. So Viking Raiders get it done. Raw gets their win. Raw gets a win. So it's 1-1-1 going into the main show.
Team NXT defeats Team Raw and SmackDown. For the women's, this was a little clunky.
Yeah, this was a little odd, as you had Candice and I think it was Candice and Io.
Yeah.
Left the match early.
And then came back.
Then they came back at the very end, which was kind of weird. We got Asuka turning on Team Raw with the Miss, which obviously advances their storyline. There's a Starrcade pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. There's more on that in a moment. There's more on that after we get through Survivor Series and AEW stuff. We got some women looking impressive. Bianca Belair got a couple pins in there. We got some quality stuff from all parties involved. Toni Storm basically was folded into a pretzel by the sharpshooter and the bank statement, making her tap out as Natty from Raw and Sasha from SmackDown kind of teamed together towards the end to take down the NXT people. But again, the weekend of Ripley continued and culminated as Ripley ultimately would pin Natalya with a little bit of distractions, with a couple of distractions thrown in there, and Ripley would win the match for her team at NXT.
Roderick Strong defeats Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles.
A solid match all the way around, from start to finish. A very solid match between all three parties. And we
I
didn't get
thought
much
Roddy
involvement.
was the better wrestler of the three.
It was what?
Roddy was the best wrestler of the three.
Roddy Tech wrestled better than AJ and Shinsuke. He really did. He really did out wrestle both of them. I will agree with that. So I'd argue, yeah, probably the right man probably won. It was a good match, but ultimately Roddy was the best wrestler of the three, and he proved his worth. A very good match all the way around. Where it looked like AJ had it won with a phenomenal forearm, but Roddy basically stole the pin and pinned Shinsuke. But a very good match for all three.
Gimmick.
So
We have to talk about this. The Morrow thing. Was great.
Yeah.
And
Corey Graves, we gotta put you on blast for this. That was wrong. That was foul what you said.
Dick move.
Yep.
And then you doubled down on it.
I ain't gonna make. Hey, you definitely did make it worse. Ronaldo wasn't even on NXT this week. It was Phillips who did the commentary for NXT. Ronaldo wasn't even on.
Yeah.
That was dumb. Yeah. Corey, I get it. You apologize at least, but yeah, that was really stupid. You didn't have to do that. Come on, man.
I told him personally.
Yeah, that was foul. That was foul, man. We love Corey Graves. We love us some Corey Graves, but dude, that was foul, guys. That was foul, my guy.
Adam Cole defeats Dunn. So
how is Adam Cole standing? First off, how in the world were you possibly standing?
I have no idea. He took a bitter end.
And then done with the leg injury. Pretty much towards in his match, so it kind of hampered his situation. I honestly thought Cole had no shot. I truthfully thought Cole had no shot in winning this match. Yet he found a way to do it, and he found a way to win in what was a very good match. And that counter was incredible at the end. That was an incredible counter.
Yes.
Dunn had him for the bitter end, and Cole immediately and seamlessly countered it to the Panama Sunrise. That's one thing Adam Cole is absolutely outstanding at and one of the best in the game at. His timing is amazing. The timing of him being able to flip the bitter end seamlessly to the Panama Sunrise was outstanding. That absolutely was the move that won the match. The last shot made it academic. But that was absolutely outstanding how Cole won this match. What a way to win it, and what a way to close the weekend for Cole, as Cole gets it done against Pete Dunne. And if you wanted to say this was the best match of the night, by all means. But because this was incredibly entertaining.
And The Fiend defeats Daniel Bryan.
Hate the red lighting. Other than that, this match was fine.
Yeah, it was okay.
No match, no speed whatsoever. Except for the red lighting, get rid of it. The red lighting is bad. But other than that, I'm perfectly cool with it. I like that we got a little bit of the yes stuff. I thought that was great. And I thought what The Fiend did at the end, as he intercepted Bryant with the mandible claw, and then basically put all of his body weight on the off arm so that Bryant couldn't get out and couldn't escape, as Fiend would easily pin him. I thought that was good. I was with that. That was fine. Fiend keeps the Universal Championship as he should have. Definitely his best match.
I'm gonna bash the next match, the beginning of the next match, because fucking Walter got eliminated in 2 seconds. He's your United Kingdom champion, and he will take a star in Europe, and he's presented as an unstoppable beast, and you just fucking hit him in 5 minutes. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
And not only, and the other part about that, not only was the fact that he got eliminated first, they no-sold the chops. That's the biggest thing about Walter. His bread and butter is the chops. They had him chop Strowman and McIntyre, and basically both dudes brushed it off. Strowman I give a little bit more of a pass to because of just how massive Strowman is, but both dudes brushed it off. Strowman and McIntyre did, like it was nothing. Like, no, you gotta have him chop Swede something. If you don't have him chop those two dudes, I for sure thought Damian Priest was gonna get picked off first. I thought he was easily and by the way, the 5 for NXT, we should mention, were Ciampa, who was the captain, Walter, Priest, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. And, yeah, the fact that Walter got pinned first, none of us like it.
Anybody else.
I for sure thought it was going to be Priest getting picked off with a Claymore. or something like that first. That was the move that got Walter eliminated, was the Claymore. But yeah, I thought it was I didn't like that at all. I really didn't. It did catch him clean in the face, but I thought I didn't like that at all. Let's see. Good. It was some good stuff here. Owens got pinned by Ciampa, which I thought Owens got pinned a little too early. I thought that was a bit of a surprise. Gable getting pinned, being the first out for SmackDown, that's fine. No issues there.
This was a good match.
Riddle pinning, it was a good match. RKOs from Orton to Priest. Priest gone. But Riddle pinning Orton, I thought that was one of the moments of the match. I didn't see that coming. That Riddle would sneak up on Orton and pin him. I didn't see that one. That was a good look for having Riddle to pin Orton. And then Orton immediately hit him with an RKO, basically leaving him easy pickings for Corbin to pin him. Strowman gets counted out, but now this was a good use of the Claymore here. Strowman getting hit with it to get eliminated via countout. I thought that was fine. Ricochet getting completely wrecked by the end of days. That's fine. That makes a lot of sense. Ali getting picked off, getting the stomp from Rollins. That's cool. McIntyre getting picked by Reigns. Okay, that makes sense. Corbin getting turned off by Roman Reigns because Corbin was being completely stupid. At parts of the match, understood it. Completely understood that. Corbin gets speared by Reigns, gets picked off. They continues that rivalry. Pretty much similar to Charlotte Asuka earlier in the evening. That's fine. Ciampa getting eliminated by a stomp by Rollins. And basically, he got dipped on by Reigns. And he pretty much got double teamed by Reigns and Rollins.
He pins Rollins.
Lee then pins Rollins, yep, with the powerbomb, yeah. The jackhammer I thought was dope, and Lee pins Rollins, and Lee basically owned the building at this moment in time. Since it wasn't Ciampa, it was Lee who owned the building. So Lee eliminates Rollins, and Rollins out, and now it's down to Rollins, and now it's down to Keith Lee and Roman Reigns, and Lee absolutely did own the building, and Lee went blow for blow with Roman, and it was highly entertaining. It was incredibly entertaining watching Lee throw down with Roman. It was that powerbomb was dope that Lee did. And Lee kept it pushing. He tried to go for that moonsault from the second rope. And he didn't quite get it. Yeah, there was a botch, by the way, where it looked like Roman had the pin. But Cone counted to 3, but Lee apparently kicked out just before it. There was a little bit of a botch there by John Cone. Nonetheless, it was Lee kept trying to keep it going with the powerbomb. And it was the second rope moonsault from Lee missed. Reigns got the spear to get it done, so SmackDown wins. This and Riddle and Cole were my two favorite matches of the evening. I did enjoy the frenetic pace of the men's match more than the women. It seemed a whole lot less clunky.
Yeah.
The only thing about this one was the Walter elimination early. I didn't like that part either. But other than that, I thought this match was perfectly fine.
Both Cole Dunn and this match were at 4 stars for me. So
Yes.
no complaints. Brock versus Ray was fun, but Brock Lesnar defeats Rey Mysterio.
Slightly below, yeah. This was probably third because I did love when Ray and Dominic did their thing and double team Brock. I thought that was great. But this is probably third to me on the list of matches.
But
I did enjoy.
This is the second time. I want to get to the women's match because this is the second time a triple threat has shit the bed this year in the main event spot.
Yeah, the WrestleMania one was better than this.
And the WrestleMania one still dragged, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought this one dragged between Shayna, Becky, and Bayley. I thought this one dragged on.
Yeah.
I think the building was semi done from Lesnar retaining. I think everyone was looking forward to Rey Mysterio winning the title. So I think that kind of killed the energy in the building, which is why I wish that match would last. But yeah, I really fully expected that match to last too. Ray and Brock.
And then they go 18-5 with it, and I'm like, ugh.
I thought it was a bit. Yeah, I get it. You want to give them time, but yeah, I didn't. This match seemed to drag. I didn't get that same buzz or entertainment. At least with Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky, you got a buzz. I didn't get that same buzz from this.
Both matches lacked heat. Both those matches lacked heat.
Yeah.
And the WrestleMania crowd's different because it's all your hardcores, but it's like that match lacked heat. But both of them really just suffered from the lack of heat and the same formulaic triple threat layout. They weren't creative with it at all.
Not really, no. Yeah, not really, no.
They
I mean,
just
a lot of people wanted. I think a lot of people were dead set on seeing, and obviously in the WrestleMania match, Becky Ronda, and in this match, Becky Baszler. And then we got the SmackDown champion thrown in both cases. Not that we're saying Bayley wasn't worthy of that spot, because Bayley's had a very good fall, and it's come on since becoming heel. Bayley's really stepped their game up. And Charlotte at the time, you had to put Charlotte in because of the way Charlotte was doing her thing up until WrestleMania.
I thought Bayley was the best performer in the match, and
yeah, Bayley worked it out. Bayley did really well, and it certainly did.
I thought Baszler did well. It's just, I hate to say this with Becky.
Too much.
She's not that good.
You think it's finally time for Becky to lose the title?
She's so over, but her matches do nothing for me.
I can honestly say Becky, and I've made this clear a few times before that Becky's my favorite of the women. You can honestly say that Becky doesn't need the title to main event whatever match she's in. She doesn't need to be champion. I think she's in that Charlotte mode of I can grab headlines without being champion. And I think both of them could absolutely elevate the tag. And not that the Kabuki Warriors are bad, because I like what the Kabuki Warriors are doing. But if they were to win the tag titles at some point, Becky and Charlotte, and Becky not being the women's champion on Raw, I think they could really do wonders. I think they could absolutely do wonders to the tag champions and really bring a whole lot of prestige and
more than Becky. Since they've really dropped the ball with her. And her ring work has not been the best.
I feel like her ring work hasn't improved. I don't think it's really changed. I don't think it's really improved.
Yes, that's the thing. Before this, she was improving on a slightly higher level, and now she's not really improving.
I think she's plateaued and been a little stagnant. I think is the way I would describe it.
I'm not saying she's bad.
No. Becky's still really good. I didn't like that Becky was basically made to stand tall at the very end. As if they wanted to keep Becky over. Becky was already over. She didn't need to do that. Ultimately, it was Shayna who put Bayley to sleep with the Karafuda, putting her to sleep. So NXT gets capped off. An incredible weekend for NXT. The final score being NXT 4, SmackDown 2, Raw 1. Baszler putting the final touches on it, winning in her signature win in WWE right now. She's obviously over a year as champion. She'll get the 400 days easy as NXT Women's Champion, as she's not too far away from Asuka in terms of the championship, in terms of NXT Women's title run and being the longest. But a good Survivor Series all in all. I wish they would have flipped the women's match and Brock and Ray. I think the women's match would have got more heat had it gone on before Brock and Ray. I really do.
Yeah.
Would have got more buzz.
I don't think the match would have been better, but
it probably wouldn't have been any different. But I think it would have at least got more of a crowd reaction.
Yeah.
If it were before Brock and Ray. I think that killed a whole lot of the reaction. That killed a whole lot of the buzz when Brock actually won the match.
So, AEW. Oh, we have to go to Raw. My bad.
Raw, and we'll kind of speed for this, because really, honestly, Raw was all right. We got a heel turn from Rollins, which I thought was okay. And nothing really special, though. Owens stunned Rollins at the end of the segment. Kind of dragged it a little bit. Rusev got the drop on Bobby Lashley. I thought this was great. I love that Rusev beat up Lashley the way he did. I thought it was awesome. And it sets up a last man standing match with him at Starrcade with those two men. I thought this was a good way for Rusev to finally get some comeuppance on Lashley. Well done. Perfectly fine there. AOP destroys Hawkins and Ryder. What would you expect? You missed little to nothing. Andrade beat Tozawa. A little bit of help with Selena Vega. Again, can we push Andrade towards the Intercontinental Championship? Buddy beat up over. I was so scared of this match, but with Buddy versus returning Matt Hardy. Like, no, you're gonna kill Matt. You're gonna kill Buddy Murphy. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Buddy's gonna be hot this year in 2020, but they didn't. Basically, Buddy Murphy gave Matt Hardy some NyQuil in the form of knees to the face. Several of them. Matt Hardy was knocked out by the time the third one hit his jaw. Buddy gets it done. And
But then we're doing a Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black feud, which I am all for.
Yes, Buddy versus Aleister continuing to build up their whole deal. Buddy caught some knees from Aleister before leaving the ring. But I love that they're setting this up between Buddy and Aleister. I'm all for it. I need more of this. Let me see some more. A good Fatal 4-Way between Ricochet, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Rey Mysterio. Winner gets a crack, and AJ. This is a good Fatal 4-Way. I enjoyed it.
And ultimately, it was Rey Mysterio match was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, this obviously there was a sacrifice, and that being Humberto Carrillo getting jumped by the OC beforehand. I'm sure Carrillo will have his time. I know Carrillo's going to have his time. No problem there.
So I want to see a Carrillo-Rey Mysterio match.
Yes. I do want to see that. Ultimately, to me, and I still believe this. I told you this last year. The guy I want to see take the U.S. Championship now that Ray won the match, a little bit of assist from Randy Orton. The guy I want to see take the U.S. title from him is Andrade, and then have Andrade and Carrillo battle. But I'm perfectly cool with Humberto getting a shot at Rey Mysterio. I do need to see that. That match would be dope. But ultimately, it was Ricochet. It was Rey Mysterio getting it done, back-to-back matches. And Rey Mysterio is your new United States champion. Nice celebration with Dominic. Crowd was hot for that. I thought the whole thing was dope. A little bit of an assist from Randy Orton to drop AJ with an RKO after the OC got involved towards the end of the match. Although that was good stuff. I'm all for that. Charlotte Flair kicks the Miz the second time in the face. Asuka finally beat Charlotte. Kind of wish it wasn't the Miz that did it, but okay, fine, whatever. Got to keep the heel thing going on, I suppose. Asuka finally does beat Charlotte. We did need to see Asuka beat Charlotte, though. So that's okay. Good match, though.
It was good.
My condolences to the poor sad Kyle Roberts. My condolences to his family after he decided to look into the birdcage to see what in the world was in there. And that basically was his death sentence, as Eric Rowan basically destroyed him in relatively quick fashion. So this was a squash. And in the main event, which was pretty decent, between Rollins and Owens, pretty solid main event, and then AOP gets the drop on Kevin Owens. It seems as AOP and Seth Rollins becoming a crew, I'd be okay with this. I think this would be interesting, a good use for AOP to be part of a crew with Seth Rollins. This would be very interesting. So I can see some stuff from this. Good match between KO and Seth because that's just what they do against each other. All in all, a decent Raw. Could have been better, but a decent Raw.
So, AEW Dynamite. We had Jericho, Le Champion, with Soul Train Jones as the host of the championship celebration. And there was a marching band, inflatables, a giant gift in the ring. And then you can buy a little bit of the bubbly now.
Jericho never ceases to take advantage. Jericho never ceases to take advantage. I love that. Jericho he's adaptive and aware of what he does. And he's a master showman. I love that.
And then he buries Chicago. Jericho has an official statement from TNT and AEW officials. He has Justin Roberts.
I did see that part. And the jerseys that Jericho gave to his crew, to the Inner Circle.
Yep. He gave him Rangers jerseys as it was Jericho's father.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great segment.
And then Justin Roberts gets dipped on by the Inner Circle. I did see that in an SCU, especially Scorpio Sky, who were part of the marching band, jumped the inner circle and basically got them out of the ring.
Yes.
I did see that part.
Yes. Marco Martinez is announcing tonight, replacing Tony, who's on assignment at his regular job.
Mm-hmm.
Orange Cassidy is dressed up as a turkey. Lucha Bros attached to the entrance, and Orange hits a high cross on top wearing a turkey suit. JR references to be KRP in Cincinnati, and Excalibur asks if they are going after that over 50 demo. Third.
Yeah, that definitely was a parody of the Gobbledygooker. I totally, yeah, I see what you did there.
About the over 50 demo, the only demo that NXT consistently wins every week. Excalibur, fucking great. I love Excalibur.
They are. What I'm learning here is that AEW is secretly petty. They could be a secretly petty company coming out with all these shots at WWE. And I'm not even sure the secret about it.
It's not that secret. Best Friends defeat the Lucha Bros in 8 minutes via pin. Good opening match. Here. Then we had Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander lose to Emi Sakura and Bea Priestley. Mike Stand shot by Emi Sakura, and then the Cradle finishes off Statlander. Statlander did get some shine in her TV debut. Bea looked pretty good, and Emi picked up a immediate win. Moxley then cuts a promo making his way onto the top and wonders if someone is crazy enough to come after him and try to be a hero. If they do, they will get hurt. Cody versus Matt next. They lock up. Cody takes him down. Next battles back, but Cody attacks Cody Sable wins. Figure 4 follows, and Cody wins. And then Cody calls out MJF. And then the Blade attacks. Then the Butcher appears. And we have Dark Alley comes up under the ring. And the Butcher and the Blade are here. Pepper Parks and Andy Williams. New tag team for AEW in an already stacked tag team division.
This is a very, very deep, very, very talented tag team division. And the inevitable tag team feuds that are coming are going to be incredible.
Yes. Then we had Kenny Omega versus Pac. Very good match here. Omega fires up with the feature. Pac counters the one-winged angel, but then Omega cradles him for the win. Kicks out of the first cradle attempt and then rolls over and wins with the second attempt. This was a very good match. Kenny got his win back. I'm sure there'll be a rubber match down the line. And we had
after what happened with Omega, he probably needed that win. He needed that win badly after losing to Moxley in that unsanctioned match.
Yes. And he avenges his loss in Chicago at All Out.
Mm-hmm.
MJF versus Hangman Page. MJF wins. With a sloppy ass crossroads. Crossroads.
I did see that. That was pretty. Yeah, I get the savagery, but it was not pulled off as well as it should have been.
Post-match, DDP arrives to present the diamond ring to the winner, MJF, and MJF is not impressed with DDP and gets his ring.
I did enjoy that. I did watch that in the promo the DDP cut. I did really enjoy that. I thought that was good.
I rated MJF on his win and offered him a handshake. MJF gave him his ring back, and Wardlow bows up DDP and tells him to back off, and then they had a pull apart.
Pretty much the whole thing, yeah. Pretty much it became a fight between all the parties involved. I liked it. I did like that. I did like MJF interacting with DDP because it seemed like obviously MJF is his arrogance is going to create a whole lot of enemies amongst the legends of the game.
Yeah, Jake Hager, Dustin Rhodes came out and he said he wants Jake Hager blood, inner circle attack, Dustin, and then Matt and Nick Jackson make the save, and the baby stand tall.
I like that they're keeping that strong. I like that.
So next week it's going to be Dustin and the Bucks versus Rivera, Santana, and Ortiz. Le Champion versus Scorpio Sky.
I did watch this.
Very good.
Entertaining, yes. Very, very entertaining. That crowd was hot, too. That's the other part about this. The crowd was real hot for Scorpio Sky. They were absolutely ready to see Scorpio Sky win the title. Very entertaining match, but the experience of Jericho getting it done. If there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say, Jericho making Scorpio tap out to the walls of Jericho, despite the Judas effect not working. Good adaptation by Chris Jericho, an incredibly adaptive wrestler. Jericho retains the title, and the show ends with Moxley making his way down the aisleway in the crowd. So it seems like Moxley set his targets on Jericho in the AEW Championship.
Yes.
So let's take it to Full Sail. NXT this week, as the brand rightfully celebrates their triumphant weekend, not just with Wargames, but with Survivor Series, as they basically wrecked shop and dominated the whole Survivor Series weekend in the Shy. Josiah Williams, aka Wrestling Flow, did a nice track for NXT, interrupted by Undisputed Era, as the parties involved in the War Games match, plus Matt Riddle, kind of commanded the ring, as Undisputed Era talking about how their weekend was big, and it was, as 2 out of 3 parties won their matches on Survivor Series. Ciampa's now set his sights towards the NXT Championship, but he had to set his sights towards Finn Balor first. Balor vs. Ciampa was the main event for the evening. Leon Dijakovic versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly started the evening in what was going to be a good tag match, and it was, but Bobby Fish didn't make it to the end. Bobby Fish unfortunately got hurt as the match kind of was starting up to get nice, so he got replaced by Roddy Strong. His match was still fine. It was still worked out really, really well. Really, it was fairly seamless on all parties involved. We got to get towards the end of the match as Adam Cole tried to get involved and basically was thrown into the third row as he got completely deboed by Keith Lee. That pounce was insane. We see Keith Lee do some pounces, but man, Adam Cole went flying.
That was incredible.
Adam Cole went straight flying. It completely got intercepted by Lee and got completely pounced on. Dijakovic was stunned, as we all were, to see Adam Cole flying like that. But he took his eye off the prize, and ultimately it was Strong and O'Reilly that took advantage and pinned Dijakovic to make it happen. So the Undisputed Era retains the titles for Fish and O'Reilly. It was Strong and O'Reilly who retained the titles for the Crew. But a very good opener. Very good opener. Finally, they used Mansoor. So happy they're actually going to use him on the state side. At least they did so more often. Mansoor gets it done. I kind of wish it was a little bit longer of a match. But the fact that they're actually using him on NXT television is a good sign. Mansoor gets it done with a slingshot neckbreaker. But Mansoor gets it done. So that was the end game.
Who did he face?
He faced Shane Thorne.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he faced Shane Thorne. Dakota versus Candice. I like how they built it up, where they give a medical update on Tegan Knox. Knox obviously was NXT this week. Phillips was NXT, not Ronaldo. But Candice LeRae did a nice promo before the match, and the match itself was very solid between Dakota and Candice. Both women got it done. Both women did really well. The match really kicked up, and once we got towards the end, it was Kai, who used Tegan Knox's knee brace to hit Candice in the face with it. And then Dakota Kai was going to work. Dakota Kai came to try to finish off Candice. And she was going to use the knee brace to really, really finish off Candice after throwing her into the steel steps. But ultimately, the referee kept the knee brace from her. So instead, she went to go grab a chair. This gave Rhea Ripley the time to make the save and make sure that no more damage was done to Candice LeRae as this shoot off Tegan Knox. This shoot off Dakota Kai. But it's obvious we got a secondary heel story. We got a secondary women's story aside from Rhea and Shayna. We got the Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox story is obviously going to be the second tier, and then whatever Io does with Candice, if they're still doing stuff, whatever Bianca does, we're still doing stuff. So we got some female storylines here. I like it. Got some female hooks here.
I like the secondary female storylines. It makes the show more interesting.
It does. It adds a different flair to it. It adds a different flair to NXT. Cruiserweight title match, Leo Rush versus Akira Tozawa was a good one-on-one. A very good one-on-one.
German suplex to the apron.
Yeah, really. Ooh. I don't think that was even the most painful thing that happened on the evening. The most painful thing that might have happened was Candice trying to do a back suplex onto the apron. Instead, Candice kind of missed. And Dakota barely caught the apron, but really caught a lot of the floor, as both women went basically straight to the floor. They both kept moving on like nothing happened. But I think that was probably the worst bump of the evening, I would say. But yeah, that German suplex is no joke, though. Leo gets it done as he countered the diving senton and hit the final hour to get the pin. But this was a very good match as both guys really kept up. Tozawa kept up with the speed of Leo Rush, but ultimately it was Rush doing a little bit. Rush was too much for Akira Tozawa and gets it done via pinfall to keep his title. But a good match. Rush put on some good title wins. Good job. Xia Li beats up Vanessa Bourne, handles business there. But the Shayna and Maria and Jessica came down and triple teamed Xia. Rhea Ripley wasn't having it. Rhea made the save yet again. And this turned into a promo where the crowd got super hot. Again, Rhea Ripley basically ran the weekend and is slowly and surely becoming the face of NXT. Rhea basically made her declaration. She's coming for Shayna again, but this time coming for Shayna's title. So, once again, Rhea Ripley proves that she owns the weekend and she owns the week in NXT. Rhea gets it. Rhea and Shayna basically set a date. They didn't set a date for when this is going to go down, but we're pretty much sure that this is going to go down.
Yes.
Finally, the main event of the evening was Ciampa versus Balor, and what was a pretty solid match. Physical match. Both parties brought it. Both parties did their thing. Pretty productive stuff going on by the two dudes that are absolutely going to be in the NXT title picture going forward. It was ultimately Adam Cole's interference yet again. This time, no pounce, but his interference yet again to clearly cost Ciampa the match, which he did. He caught him with an enziguri. Ciampa then got picked into the 1916, and Ciampa loses to Balor. So Balor gets another big win, and what it looked like it was going to be Balor and Adam Cole with some sort of alliance. Turned into Balor dropping Adam Cole with a Pele kick. So Balor's on his own, and we see what this is. We got our three main contenders for the NXT Championship in Balor, Cole, and Ciampa.
Yeah.
That's NXT.
Picks of the week.
Obviously, we're doing this before SmackDown, so we'll talk about SmackDown obviously next week. Picks of the week. I got to look at college football. This is rivalry week in college football. And what I'm looking for here, as I slide through the schedule here, we're favored by 40. I think we can cover that, but that's not going to be my pick. My pick of the week is going to be, I'm going to go with the Iron Bowl. Well, there's a lot of good rivalries this week, but my focus will be on the Iron Bowl. Matt Jones played really well against a trash Arkansas team. Alabama is a field goal favorite. I like Auburn to pull off the upset and basically kill any shot at Alabama going to the college football playoff. Alabama, I think, goes down. I'm going to take Auburn in the Iron Bowl to win it outright.
You're pulling a me here. You're pulling a me here. And picking Ben Saban. I do appreciate that. But I'm picking Minnesota upset Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 2.5 point favorite there. But Wisconsin, but Minnesota has the talent to get it done. But you guys are playing Rutgers, 40.5 points.
I expect us to cover that. It's Rutgers.
It's Rutgers.
Rutgers is nowhere near the talent that Minnesota does. Yes, I took Minnesota for granted. The Rutgers is nowhere near the talent Minnesota does. I expect Penn State to absolutely roll Rutgers here. I see no issue. They have a good running back, Rutgers does, and Pacino, but I see no chance of Rutgers. I think Rutgers gets hammered on senior day. Penn State gets to 10-2 and gets closer. I think Penn State eventually ends up with a New Year's 6. Please resign James Franklin. Stop these rumors of him going to Florida State or USC. Let's put pen to paper and let him get his bag and get his bread because he deserves it. He's a top 10 coach in college football. You won't find 10 coaches better than Franklin, title or not. Just sign him already. Re-up him, give him a long-term deal. He deserves it.
And then Notre Dame's a 16.5 point favorite at Stanford. Stanford's not very good this year, so I expect Notre Dame, who has really came on to complete. They really bonded together as a team and really started to play very well. The last couple weeks against Navy and Virginia Tech, respectively. So I do expect Notre Dame to roll Stanford.
BC. To put you guys at 10-2.
Yep, to put us at 10-2. Yes. So I don't think we'll get a New Year's 6 because where we are in the ranks.
You guys are 16th. We are 10th. Yeah, I don't think you guys would have to need to see a lot of bodies drop in front of you. I think to get up to. Well, I think the minimum you guys would probably have to get up to is 10th to get up to get to a New Year's 6.
Yeah.
There's just too much damage in front of you, and Michigan's still ahead of you. You're going to need Michigan to lose big against Ohio State, which I think Ohio State beats them and covers. But I don't think they cover by enough for you to leap them or to leap Wisconsin, who I think will lose, and a couple other squads ahead of you. So I think your chances of a New Year's 6 is all but done. I do think you'll get a New Year's Day bowl.
Yes. Then we go to the NFL, where...
Well, let's see here. Well, we've got
a Sunday game because I won't be releasing this until Friday, even though I do like that line in the Lions and Bears line.
Detroit's going to a third-string QB. I have to think Chicago will cover that 5. I do agree there. But that's not the game I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to... Let's see here. Got some solid games here.
We got a couple tank bowls. We do get a couple tank bowls.
We do get a couple here. Jets and Bengals. Andy Dalton's back in the fold. So we got a tank bowl there.
And
we got
Chargers
and Broncos looking like a tank bowl. Is a sneaky tank bowl right there. I'm going to go with the Rams. The Rams have to bounce back.
Yeah.
After getting completely murdered by the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson's probably your MVP right now. He's the front runner, definitely. But after getting completely slaughtered by the Ravens, I have to think the Rams bounce back. The Cardinals are a respectable team. They are. And in any other division, they'd have a decent shot at it. Unfortunately, you're dealing with 2 definite playoff teams, one of them being a Super Bowl contender in the Niners, and maybe Seattle, who beat the Niners, and a Rams team that can absolutely make a run for the wild card. I got to think the Rams bounce back. They'll cover the 3. I think the Rams keep it pushing, so I'm going to go with the Rams as my pick.
I think Green Bay covers the 6.5.
Okay.
Gotta bounce back after that loss.
They also got murdered. The Giants gave them some work, too.
A possible Super Bowl preview, 1 p.m. on Fox. 49.
Ooh. Niners and Ravens, a showdown.
That's as tasty of a matchup as you can get.
Earl Thomas already called his shot. They're going to win the chip this year. You got the best team in the NFC and the best team in the AFC. I consider Baltimore better than New England because Baltimore housed New England in their matchup. New England, you better get home field advantage. I don't think you can go to Baltimore and beat them. I truly don't think you can go to Baltimore and beat the Ravens, New England. I just don't think you can. You better get home field advantage. For New England to do that, they got to win out. And
yep,
they
and
don't
I
opponent better than Baltimore does in the Niners.
This week,
But,
in Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans, I don't think they win that game.
I don't trust Houston enough to win that game, but I get why you say that. Games at home.
Seahawks
versus Rockets is appointment viewing.
We have a awesome game.
Which one? Oh, Minnesota Seattle. That's a good Monday night game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Minnesota Seattle's a good Monday night.
And Raiders Chiefs.
Interesting. Battle for the AFC West. Oakland got murdered by the Jets last week, but it's an interesting game. That's a pretty good game. Could Oakland actually overtake Kansas City for the AFC West? I'm going to say no. I think Kansas City heals up a little bit after the bye. Obviously, you didn't have Tyreek Hill, you didn't have LaShawn McCoy. Very healthy in the Charger game on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago. This is a big game. They face each other twice going down the stretch. KC and Oakland do. So I'm looking for – actually, they faced each other once. KC won the earlier game. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a very interesting game at Arrowhead.
Yes, and then next week's Chiefs Patriots.
That's a monster game too. Definitely a monster game. I don't think New England wins out. I don't think New England wins out either. So I think Baltimore is going to get home field. I really do.
Yeah, but I do think Baltimore's going to get home field. I think Patriots are lose at least 2 more. Good. Because they might lose to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
The way that offense has been playing. It's not their defense. Their defense is almost legendary. It's their offense.
Yeah, the Wiggins offense is suspect. That's a pretty suspect offense. I don't think they're talented enough to take advantage of a bad defense like Kansas City, or I guess, mediocre one in Houston. Yeah. I don't think Houston's great, but Houston's at least serviceable.
They don't have the talent to exploit those offenses anymore.
No, it doesn't look like they do.
Their defenses. And then they escaped in Philly. They escaped.
Yeah, New England's defense did their thing. The Eagles' offense has gone missing.
As we've lost 4 of our key players, and basically our defense is playing our asses off.
The defense has been rock solid the last 2 weeks. I put a little bit less. I put less stock in the New England one than the Seattle one. Seattle's got a real offense, but yeah, that was impressive what you did to Seattle. The turnovers were just awful.
Oh my God! Both sides were awful.
Both sides were bad, but the Eagles side was worse.
Yeah,
the Eagles were a lot worse, and all those turnovers and the bad throws by Wentz, that throw to Miles Sanders was awful. That garbage touchdown, I really look at it as a 17-3 game. I don't even care for the garbage touchdown by Wentz to Ertz. So I really look at it as a 17. That was really a 2-score game for a lot of the way through. Yeah. So to me, Seattle dominated the game with the turnovers, or did the thing with the turnovers, and they did all this without Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney didn't even play. And he made the Eagles, and Zeke Ansah made the Eagles' offensive line look bad. That's concerning. It won't bite. It shouldn't bite them against Miami because Miami's pass rush hasn't been very good. Not named Taco Charlton, but Miami doesn't have. I don't think Miami has the talent to steal the game unless the Eagles turn over the ball a ton. They're gonna fight. I don't think the Eagles should be favored by 10, but I think they're gonna fight. I think Miami's gonna fight. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll fight.
Yeah, they're a chippy team.
Miami's going to fight. So, The Eagles, I think, can get to, as long as they keep pace and keep winning, I think they'll stay either tied or a game behind Dallas, leading to the one-game showdown in Week 16 and Philly. I just don't think they can beat Dallas. I just don't think they have. I don't think they have the personnel to beat Dallas.
I don't think they have personnel to beat Dallas. Which means we're probably saving Jason Garrett's job for another year, which is annoying.
And you missed the playoffs.
And won't miss the playoffs. We'll save Jason Garrett's job. As much as I love Jason Garrett in Dallas, he needs to fucking go.
There's rumors that Jerry Jones is saying only a Super Bowl win would save him, which probably means he goes anyway.
That is bullshit.
That's the rumor. I don't know how true that is.
I don't think it's true at all.
Probably not.
That's just my read on him because Jerry Jones is taking his personal relationship to an umpteenth degree. Yeah, so. And then the Sixers win tonight, the Flyers win tonight.
Good night for Philly sports. Flyers getting it done against Columbus.
We are actually third in the Metro right now, right? Am I correct?
No. The Penguins stole the win against Vancouver. So I think, Lakers are losing by 10. The Flyers are in the Metro. No, they are tied for fourth.
Tied for fourth, yeah.
The Penguins stole the game against Vancouver. So the Penguins leap over the Flyers and the Hurricanes. But, the Flyers are right.
Flyers are playing good.
Flyers have pulled it together. They pulled it together. They've been solid lately. The kids are playing well. Allen, they're getting healthy. With Scott Lawton coming back, he scored a goal tonight. They're starting to get healthy. The Flyers are starting to look productive. Nolan Patrick's on his way back. The Flyers are going to be a solid team when they're healthy. They're going to be a good team when they're healthy.
Yeah, and Drew's looking like an MVP candidate.
G's starting to get it together. Vigneault called for G and Voracek to get right and get things up and running. And G's starting to do it. Voracek scored a couple nights ago. Haynes and Van Riemsdyk are starting to play a little bit better. So the Flyers are starting to come together. It's looking all right.
Yeah, and who do you think's winning the NBA right now? The way you see it.
The Lakers look like the best team in the West.
Sixers.
The Sixers look good in the East, though Embiid getting shut out a couple nights ago was not good. He responded nicely tonight. Good look. He responded nicely tonight. Milwaukee looks really good.
Yeah, they got it together.
Really, really good. And their squad is built. Squad's built nice. That's a nicely built team. Milwaukee looks really, really good. And it's going to be hard to deal with them in the best of 7 because they got all those shooters surrounding Greek Freak. Yeah. It's going to be hard to deal with them in the best of 7. Boston looking nice too. But it's going to be hard to deal with Milwaukee.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to deal with the Bucks. And the Lakers and Denver in the West and the Clippers, not the Clippers, the Lakers, the Lakers, Denver, and the Clippers. Those are the 3 in the West. Those are 3 of the 4 teams. Those are 3 of the 4 teams you expected in the Western Conference to go in and make things happen. Houston, I think Houston's kind of fatally flawed. That's a terrible defensive team, and
it is.
I think Houston's fatally flawed, and they can do it in the regular season. That's fine. But it ramps up in the playoffs, and you need defense to save you. I don't think Houston's going to be able to survive. I really don't.
No, I can see Utah picking them off.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're
right now it'll be Dallas. Right now it'll be Dallas, and Luka's looking like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, Luka is fucking
Jesus, Luka's good. If it weren't for LeBron, Luka's probably the MVP because the way Luka's been outstanding this year.
Probably level right now too.
Yep. Let's look right now. To me, MVP candidates are LeBron, Luka, and then Greek Freak are 1, 2, 3, in that order.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't be talking about Russell Westbrook as MVP. Good God, he's such an unlikable prick.
He went to Houston. It was an unlikable team because they whine and cry so much. So it's a perfect marriage.
It
I
is.
love Russell Westbrook. I love me some Russell Westbrook, but that's an unlikable squad. Houston's really unlikable. So I got no beef with Houston not being with Houston being an unlikable team that loses repeatedly.
Yep. Plugs.
Twitter.com/BeastMikes where you can find me. Penn State actually losing to Arizona State last week in wrestling. That was not good. That was the first time in over 1,200 days that Penn State lost a wrestling match to anybody. And then Penn State probably losing to Ohio State, but there's no shame in the latter loss. Chase Young is a beast. Ohio State getting it done. I think Penn State again rolls against Rutgers. I will be producing the Friday night game for Penn State hockey as the Nittany Lions in hockey continue to do their thing and do it well. And obviously we'll be at Senior Day for Penn State Rutgers. I believe Big Ten Tailgate's going to be here for that too, so I might stop by there too. But that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend with my stuff. And obviously I'll be tweeting out various things that happened over the weekend. So Twitter.com/BeastMikes where you can find me.
DJD Kooks on Twitter. You can find me doing some stuff. I'll be at the Camp Out for Hunger volunteering on next Wednesday.
Okay.
So Presidency will always do their Camp Out for Hunger down at Xfinity Live, so I'll be down there with the good folks at MMR. I'll be volunteering for a few hours, so that's gonna be good next Wednesday. What else is there? Sports and music and movies, and because I am gonna watch The Irishman.
Mm.
You heard about that movie with Pacino and Pesci and De Niro? That's on Netflix.
I might have seen a promo about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good ass movie. So for Beast Mike, this is DJ Cooks, and thank you for listening.
Happy Thanksgiving.